sign an NDA in church? Are you serious?
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. So this video, it is an interesting video and we're talking about the Netflix documentary Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cuts. Yes, let me know down in the comment section, do you know that there's a cut going on TikTok, allegedly? So what's going on here is that on this Netflix documentary, they are exposing a church and a court or a management, aka allegedly courts, that is going on. So what's happening is that there's this church run by this man, Robert Channing. I can't remember. His first name is Robert, but there's this man and this whole thing started off with dance creators doing their thing, and then this man's son was the one helping some of these creators to film their dance video. And one of the main focus or the main center of this documentary is a girl called Miranda and her husband James or Derek. They are big. If you're on TikTok, you watch dance video, you will know them because they really have this very sleek, clean look to their content, which I love. But coming to find out they're in cut now, like my brain is not really clear. So anyway, they are the major because Miranda family are the ones that is drawing so much attention to this church and management team called 7M. So what happened is that these content creators were creating content and they had a videographer, which is the pastor's son. So I think that's the process. Most of them were introduced to this pastor and all that. And then they went on to talk about how they wish they can have a management team. And that was how this pastor decided that, you know what, I'm going to start a management team and have all of you. And it literally just started really tiny, like come for Bible study, know who you are, what you are. And before you know, they are doing full-blown Bible study for hours. And now it has gone to the position where some people are even being essay, and this man has been doing this thing for over 30 years. Crazy, like crazy. So they talked about how they got into it and how the rumors started coming out and how most of these dancers, TikTokers that are in this management team were made to cut off their family. Even Miranda's sister, she and her sister they have like a joint page together where they both do dancing. And at a particular point, when the sister refused to join the church, they cut her off. Like it's all crazy. Like guys, just try and catch up with me. If you've not watched it, I'm sorry. Like it's all over the place because for you to be in this management team, you have to be part of the church. So you have to be part of the church. You have to be invited. You guys see, and then once you're invited and you're into the circle, they now start advising you to cut off your family members, which was really interesting because this Miranda lady that was the center of this documentary and how trying to get them back, she has a very close net with her family. She's close with her family. She has a sister that both of them do everything together, and all of a sudden she just up and leave and no contact with them until when the heat started coming off on social media. The parents started speaking on social media. Then she reached out to her parents. And one of the heartbroken thing was the fact when her grandpapa died, she said she needs to take permission from someone that is close to God. Like a whole lot of things were going on in this documentary. Anyway, guys, let's go check out people's thoughts on this documentary. If you haven't seen this documentary on Netflix, please go check it out. It was a good one. It was very good eye-opening for me, and it's an amazing conversation spot. So go ahead and check it out, okay? So just go on, check it out, okay? So let's go check people's thoughts on this, then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts. But I want to know what you think. If you've watched it, go down in the comment section and share your own thoughts. And if you've not watched it, go watch it, come back. It's just a 3-episode. Go watch it, come back, and then join in the conversation, okay? But before we get into this video, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and smash the subscribe button because, hey, we have amazing conversation here. So go ahead and subscribe, okay? So let's go check people's reaction.
I'm still upset after watching the documentary on Netflix today called Dancing for the Devil. It's about Miranda and James Derek. They're that really cute couple that you see on all over TikTok for the last couple years dancing with all the other young adults that they dance with. Well, little did we know they're in a cult. Quite a few of the young adults actually have gotten out, but Miranda's parents and sister, they're trying desperately to get her away from them. The one thing that got me was in the documentary, when her grandfather had passed away, they were going to have the funeral, and she told her parents that she needed to get permission from someone closer to God. They knew at that moment their daughter needed help. This guy, he goes all the way back to 23 years where he's done this to people. He controls them. He controls their finances. He controls their social media. He controls if they can talk to their family or not. I mean, it's just insane. Let me know if you watch it and what you think. I'm Peanut, and that's my perspective.
What I think if the boyfriend, husband was to walk away, that she would leave. So I just got done watching the Dancing for the Devil documentary on Netflix. First of all, I did not know there was a TikTok cult. And when I hear cults, I immediately think money, religion, and some type of sexual desire. She just walks away from her family, her sister, her mother, her dad. Poor parents was crying throughout the whole documentary. She hurts them continuously for years. For this stranger who says he's closer to God, and the only way that you could be there is to cut off your family. This is Miranda and her husband and her sister, who walked away because she knew something wasn't right. That's over there in the corner over there. I think that if he was to leave this cult, this TikTok cult, she would also leave. Because a lot of the times it's like, I love you so much. I'm so attached to you that I'm willing to go through and be a part of whatever you're a part of. Not blaming him for her. I want to know where was his parents during this documentary. Also, this style, this theme of dancing that they had throughout this documentary, everybody who does this dancing to old songs, are they a part of this too? But the man's daughters, they even left. So if you have not seen this Dancing with the Devil, is the Dancing for the Devil on Netflix. It's been a long time since the documentary has got me on Netflix. Like, they put out one all the time. And this one, from the beginning, I was like, okay, this one's gonna be good.
Sign an NDA in church? Are you serious?
I would be lying if I said I wasn't stalking their TikTok pages all day today after watching this documentary. Dancing for the Devil, it is a brand new documentary on Netflix. It came out today. Today is May the 29th. Honey. But first, if you are new to the channel, my name is Keisha. I share a lot of movie content here on the channel. So if you like watching some movies, go ahead and give your girl a follow. That was a bug on my side. But anyway, let's get into it. Okay, now I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about this documentary without spoiling it, okay? Okay, so basically you have this pastor of this church, and he is offering to manage these dancers, you know, who dance on TikTok. Yeah, I've never heard anything like this. So he's basically taking them in, and he's changing a way of having church to basically running a cult. It's ridiculous. They have to listen to all of his rules. They have to live how, you know, he tells them to live. It's like he started doing all kind of things to them, taking all of their money, start SAing some folks, separating from their families, of course, because that's what the cults do. But yes, he's brainwashing them. I mean, he does all kind of stuff to these people, and their family fighting to get them back, you know. And you have some people who have left, and they're dishing out the inside information. It is so good. It is so juicy. And like I said, I had to go find these girls on TikTok. It's just crazy. I can't imagine having a child join something like this and be believing this. This man, like, who he think he is, honey? Like, oh, calm down. Calm down. Y'all got to check this out. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's short. It's only 3 parts. Very short. So take a watch. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Yeah, and I know I was on break for a little while, but don't worry, y'all. I'm back. And I got a lot of stuff to share with y'all. Don't worry. I'm still here. I love y'all. See y'all in the next video. Bye.
It's a hot take, but stay with me. So I'm watching the Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult documentary on Netflix. And I'm in the final part 3, where they're now trying to do the charges. And they talk about the one woman that attempted to press charges and lost. And they're talking about like how difficult it is to you know, press charges against people that are running cults because of, you know, these are grown adults, and like having this sort of level of control over their minds is not really like illegal. And I just want to posit that the reason why it's so hard to do this, and the reason why courts struggle in the United States to admit that that level of control over someone's mind and psychological manipulation is not okay, even in a religious context, is because then they would have to admit that Christian churches are cults too. Okay, bye.
I watched all 3 episodes last night of the documentary of Dancing for the Devil, and it's actually really good. And I do a lot of this in real life as well. And so I've dealt with people who have been in cults. I have people who are with narcissists on a regular basis. They're going to go hand in hand, right? There's no person who's not a narcissist that doesn't start a cult. All right. It's just how that is. Along with maybe possible psychopathy, being a psychopath or a sociopath, right? There's a lot that comes into play. But always remember, because you know how you say to yourself, why do I keep falling for these people or for these things? Nearly every day with my clients who feel trauma bonded with a narcissist, or they're like, oh my God, why did I get involved with a narcissist? I need you to understand that when people, a narcissist isn't going to come for somebody who is like working in confidence and secure. They're not, right? That's intimidation to them. They'll never tell you that. So you got to be gentle with yourself, because they see you, the vulnerability of like, oh my God, I just want to feel better. I see it even in my practice. They're like, I've been coming here for 6 months. Why am I not feeling better? Because it's been 6 months. So a narcissist, especially an occult leader, is going to look for somebody who's looking for security, safety, money, all of that. So be gentle with yourself. It's not your fault.
I watch Dancing with the Devil so you don't have to. You really have to work hard to make a bad documentary about cults. I'm Professor Einstein. I'm a former TV and advertising executive turned marketing critic. My latest research is about how marketers use the same tactics as cults. The problem with the documentary is they don't really talk that much about why people were attracted to this cult, what made them stay in the cult. And the ones who left went, oh yeah, I found out it was a cult, so I left. They talk to the people in the cult, they talk to the parents of the people who were in the cult, but they don't talk to any experts who help provide context. Why did these people end up in a cult? Why were they particularly attracted to this guy? Okay, so he helped make them famous, but like any manager can do that. When you don't like your manager anymore, you leave. And yes, I understand that there was a church connected to it, but none of this is explained well in the documentary. There are so many good documentaries around, particularly if you want to know about how cults and marketing work together. I mean, I'd start with LuLaRich.
Yo, I'm watching that TikTok dance cult thing. When it said Dancing for the Devil, I never would have thought it meant a preacher. A preacher? Like, now he got them all trapped in that house making TikToks. Oh, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. He picked the Bible up, preaching, put it down, dance culting.
Who else was just absolutely shook today finding out that there's a new documentary on Netflix called Dancing for the Devil? And it's about Miranda Derrick. And I have been watching her and her husband and all the other dancers for years on TikTok, and I am just shook finding out that they're in a cult called 7M, and the guy named Robert Shin, he had a church as well, and he literally took control of their lives, their finances. I mean, it's really sad to see the families go through what they did trying to get these kids out of this cult. And I swear, I binged watched it. There were three shows, and each one was just as devastating. And then there were even more victims, like from the last 23 years. Anyway, watch it. Let me know what you think, because I'm still today sitting here in awe that this beautiful girl is going through this.
So we finished the Netflix documentary about the 7M TikTok cult, and I want to touch upon something that I feel like needs to be talked about more, and it is about the money. So this is basically a church/management team. Shekinah being the church, 7M being the management team. And I guess you're not able to join 7M management without first being part of the church. Here's a financial breakdown of one of the ex-members. It is in episode 3 if you want to check it out first. But as you can see, they basically give the church management team a lot of their money after every deal. So if you notice, everyone that's part of 7M has a very unique shooting style, and they obviously have to pay the photographer. And if I remember correctly, the photographer is actually the pastor's son. So it's being kept all within the family. And then basically everyone in 7M, or at least back in the day, they lived in sort of like a creator house, which we are all familiar with, so then they have to pay rent. Then because it is a management team, they have to pay a management fee, which is 20%. This is normal. It can range between 10 and 20. I pay 20% towards my management fee, so I feel like that's, not anything strange. Working within people's budgets who are religious, I know that it is important to them to put aside 10% to tithe. So I feel like that's normal. Next 20% goes towards an offering fee. What the difference between an offering fee and a tithe fee is, I do not know. I wish they would have shared that information with us. But let's just say 30% is going to a tithe. And then finally, we have 20% going to a man of God fee. Man of God is what the pastor calls himself. So on top of the management fee, on top of the 30% tithe fee, he is getting an additional 20%. And I guess everyone justified this as the more you give to the church, the more you give to the man of God, the more you receive in return. And obviously, they're getting deals upon deals upon deals. So I assume that they think that they are getting their blessings that they paid for. But let's break this down. In the documentary, the example that was given is $100,000 was given to this person, this creator specifically, probably for one sponsored content. They have millions of subscribers, so I feel like that's on par. Ignoring the photography and the rent fee, they are paying 20, 40, 60, 70% of their payments go towards the church / management fee, but it's all going to the church. So this creator got a paycheck of $100,000. 70% at least is being taken away, going towards the church, which leaves them with $30,000. That is insane just as is. Even though $30,000 may seem like a lot of money, starting at $100,000, that is unacceptable. But on top of that, they have to pay taxes on that money. Because they are such huge creators, I'm going to assume that they are at the very top of the tax bracket, which is like 30%-ish. But you're not paying 30% off of the $30,000 left. You're paying 30% off of the $100,000 that was deposited into your account. What is 30% of $100,000? That is $30,000. So doing the math, he's being paid $100,000 is being deposited into his bank account. $70,000 is being given to the church. The remaining $30,000 now has to go to taxes. So this man has no money, like zero money from that one example. I think this part really affected me, not only because obviously I talk about money, I talk about being in how I was in debt, talk about getting out of debt and all of that stuff, but also my connection within the dance community. I know that there is a significant financial literacy issue within the dance community, and just seeing how these dancers were taken advantage of is insane. But also the fact that all of this money is going to the church. Churches don't have to pay taxes. Even though these creators have to pay taxes on the money that they're getting, the church does not have to pay taxes on the money that the creators are giving to them, which is insane.
Please let me know down in the comment section Have you seen this documentary? What are your own thoughts? Because everybody have different thoughts on this documentary. So I would love to know your own take down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful as always. You guys know how we do it here. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree. So go ahead and share your thoughts. And I really love to know your own take on this. And if you've not watched this documentary, I would advise you to go check it out because it was a very good one. And I was like, I watched all 3 episodes just like this, and I was like, where's the 4th one? That's how good it was. So go check it out and let us know your own thoughts about this and come join in the conversation, okay? So here's my thought on this. I have so many thoughts. First of one of the thoughts I have about this, like the other creator said, is that she believes that Miranda, which is the girl that her parents and her sister are like the major talking points or the major people for this documentary, Miranda would have come out of this court if not for her husband, which is James Derrick, that is also there with her. Definitely, I believe that too, that she could have come out if she was the only one. The kind of effort and pressure her family was putting and how much the family was very close-knitted, she would have come out. But because her husband was there, which adds even another thing that is going on, because some people are saying on the internet that they saw the proposal, but they never saw any picture or any video of them actually getting married. And even if the marriage is actually real, or the church allegedly probably just made it up just to shut people up and give James more rights, which is giving the church more rights over Miranda. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know about that, but for me, I just feel like it's really weird that they posted their engagement but not their wedding. Like, I find it's really funny. And the fact that our parents didn't even know anything about it, like, we all know. So I feel like she could have come out, but because a man, a boyfriend, or a husband is there, she won't come out. And that is another thing. Another creator stated that the documentary did not dive deep on why these people are so into it, which I feel like it's not even in the documentary a place, but it's just for us as people to ask, why do people get into court? Why do people find themselves in this type of situation? For me, it amplifies from a whole lot of things, and it stems up from who you are as a person and what you stand for as a person deep down, like your deepest, darkest insecurities. Some people may come up very confident, very strong, beautiful, and all that, but deep down they crave something else. They crave for family, they crave to be accepted by others and all that. So I feel like a whole lot of things will get people into that place, like a sense of belonging or something. Or I don't like code bad, because if you look at Miranda's story, Miranda and her family, her mom, her dad, and her sister, they are really close. She has a sister that they were very close, almost they look like twins, even though she was the older one. And yet, what was that thing she felt like she needed so much that she has to be in the situation where there's a condition you have to join the church and then become a management team? Could it also be like that really crave for success? Because that could be another thing, apart from the emotional want to belong to a group and all that. Could it be that hunger for success, that hunger to be in the limelight, to be a celebrity, could be the reason why she was ready to put up with it and go along with it? Because in the documentary, according to her sister, the sister sensed it from the first dinner they even went for, like, you know, this place is not right. Why do they have to be telling me to come now? Like, almost like giving me direction on what and how to move around. The sister got it like, this place doesn't seem right and all that. So and this where like this conversation, I know you guys will say Destiny always bring this conversation back to the household, back to the family, because I feel like that is a very strong root for everybody, especially children. You can see these are two sisters that grew up in the same family, grew up in the same environment and all that, but they both make two different decisions. And that's why when we are interacting with children, interacting with our children, we'll tend to find out that children are responsive and they're accepting things in a different way. So you have to really pay attention and have that conversation with that child, not just assume that everything is fine and all that, or you feel like, oh, I know that. I just feel like it's really, what's the word? I don't, personally, did I think our parents know? Because I feel like they're really a close-knit family, but something went off somewhere where she was willing to do that. and find ourselves in a situation like this where it's hard for her to come out, where somebody else is controlling her life and money and everything, and even her cutting off her family that she's so close knitted with. For me, I feel like anybody that is brainwashed, this is my own personal opinion, I might be wrong, but this is my own personal opinion. I feel like people that are brainwashed, they are seeking for something. So they will do anything, they will hear anything that tempts them in that direction of that thing they want and they feel like they need. I don't know if I'm making sense. So I feel like there's always a need, a void that needs to be filled. And if that void is filled by the so-called brainwasher, the person doing the brainwash, so that's why we as people, as family, we need to be able to read in between the lines and all that. And I feel like she's still in there because of her husband. That's my own opinion. I feel like she would have come out, but I feel like, there are some women that get into relationship, they rather be with the man they are with rather than to be with their family. No matter how close-knitted they are with their family, they will still choose the man. And this still brings us back to the conversation we have a lot here on this channel, where naturally women are groomed to center men in everything they do, and the thought of not having a man sometimes will make a lot of women be in situation. This is something I've seen myself, where a lot of women, even women, some women switch up religion for a man, just to have a man, just to be with a man, not because of anything, but just to be with a man, and that's what the man will accept for her, they would do it. So I feel personally that she's still there because her parents are doing everything. Like, you guys really need to see the documentary. Her parents are doing everything possible, but she is refusing to be there. And even now that she has agreed to have contact with her family, which is because that's what the allegedly the man in charge of the church and the management, aka the court, is because the man wants to clean his name out of the public, because the family was speaking up, the parents were shouting and calling them out on social media. So for them to cover it up, they asked her to go in touch with her family, do videos and all that. And yet her family are still tiptoeing, walking on eggshells around that to have the conversation of what is really going. And for me, that's also another like dicey situation where I feel like, should a mother or should her parents or her family have that hard conversation and them the consequences? We need to have that conversation because you are not the same person. Something is wrong, something is off with you, but rather they are respecting our boundaries, which is something we'll talk about here. People respecting people's boundary. They're respecting our boundary, her saying that don't bring up this issue. I'm not having that conversation about my church, my religion. Don't bring anything about it, or else I'm going to cut communication with you guys. So I feel like this is a very dicey conversation and dicey thing for the family. But for me personally, if I was the family, I'm not going to form it. Like, I'm not going to play house or play everything is fine when everything is not fine. When I see clearly that you're in danger, I'd rather you cut me off. But the fact that I'm still in contact, like I'm able to have contact with you and still I'm not able to get you hard to have that hard conversation so that you can come out of it, I know I'm just going to be boiling and the environment will just going to be very awkward for me and you, because I'm not expressing myself. I'm scared, I'm angry, I'm heartbroken, I'm hurt. I'm not going to, like, for me, I feel like I'll have that conversation. But yeah, I just, it's just another thing, like, you know what, not everything you see on social media, it is what it is. There's a whole lot that's going, which I was shocked personally that there was a court on TikTok. Like, I was shocked about it. So there's really so much to really get in touch and talk about here. Then another point I also want to point out in this old documentary that got me is how some church, especially this particular church that is being alleged for this court thing, how they are collecting everybody's money, like the way they are collecting the money and all that. And this is something I see in my environment, and I feel like that's one of the triggers me to start unlearning when it comes to religion. How it's always centered around money. Always centered around money. They keep telling you, oh, vanity is vanity. You give it all to God. Vanity is vanity, but they are taking the vanity. You get what I'm saying? And the fact that you be in that position where you're so, and this is something to see. My mom is a very religious person. I'm from a very religious household. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. You will give everything. And it's something that I've seen my mom did. Like, she will even give when she does not have. She will give it to the church. And for me, I'm just like, you need to take care of yourself before you take care of others. And when you're saying that your hard work it's just like for the in terms of this situation, it's almost like they're giving them an illusion. You're making $100,000, but the money is not yours. At the time, the money now belongs to the church, which I find very interesting. And then the sisters, are they Philippine? No, the Korea sisters, they also joined in this conversation. I felt like they gave a more insight to it, especially the one that was in there for a long time. And like, I can go on with this documentary forever. I feel like the way those sisters navigated the old this thing, like my heart really breaks. I really pray they find that place where they heal. Like I really feel that place, and I'm happy she's out. But another thing, I'm not trying to bring her down and all that. Another thing is that some people, what I want to point out when it comes to the sister, not tearing her down, guys. Nobody get me. You guys, if you're new here, please don't twist it. I'm not the type of person that brings negative energy. But when I see a point to be brought up, I'll have to speak about it. No hate to her, no shade or trying to downplay her trauma or what she went through there. I just want to point out something. Some people will be in situations when that situation serves them. Even though the situation is bringing harm and hurt to them, they will stay in that situation and hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that was what happened to the sister, because she was there, even though she was being essayed, she would keep hoping that one day she will get to that place. One day she will be the one being chosen. One day, until the man's wife came to put it in her face and say, you know what, all these things belongs to me. That was when it clicked on her head that, you know what, this place is not for me, I have to leave. And she left. So this is why I always say that as people, we should find a place where we've healed ourselves, so that we will not put ourselves in a position where we're just hoping and taking the bare minimum. We're just hoping that things will change, rather than us to take the steps to move away from that situation that does not serve us for the change. We can't expect other people to change and other people to move the way we do. The only person you can expect or you can guarantee or you can trust to move the way you want is you. So why don't you move? Why are you still hoping for that person to change, that person to come around? Generally, I'm talking general, including when it comes to family, friendship, relationship. You're just there, even though it's not serving your purpose, even though it's making you feel bad, even though it's making you rethink your life and your situation. You are there giving 150%, just hoping that that person will choose you one day. And the truth is that the person did not choose you from the get-go for a reason. The person is not going to choose you now. So I really find that dynamic very interesting, and the fact that she's the one trying to bring him down now, which I'm here for it. The another point I also want to touch is the fact how people, even when they call the trafficking, one of the creators point that out, when they call the human trafficking this thing, they said they can't do anything because these are adult children. For me, this is so heartbroken, because why are you people saying you people can't do it? I feel like in America there's a whole lot of some of their laws, sometimes for me it does not make sense. It's crazy. Because how can a whole family, this now you have a lot of people coming up now saying, no, our son is there, we need them out there, contact with us, that is out of character, and you're saying there's nothing, you can't even go in there to do like a thorough welfare check, into their finance check and say, what's going on, like try and look into the accusation of what their family is talking about. Because if you're in that type of situation, the possibility of you, even if you're thinking clearly you want to come out, is almost zero, because you are scared of the consequences of it. Because we all know, like if you've gone into the dive into the court and all that, you know that there's always punishment when you when you don't bring back the results they want. There's always punishment, or you bring some type of try to get away and all that. There's always consequences, because these court owners, they're making so much money out of you. So they're not going to take it easy with you. So how can somebody in that kind of situation ask for help? So for me, it's really like, what's the giving? Like, I don't even know. I don't know. Like, let me know, guys, in the comment section if you have a suggestion of how this type of movements can be navigated. But yeah, I can go on and on to go on with this. But yeah, I think. So anyway, I want to know your own take about this amazing conversation and this documentary down in the comment section. Please feel free to share your own thought down in the comment section, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations. So feel free to share your opinion, but please be respectful about it, okay? Share your opinion, but be respectful about it. Go on and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation. Like I said, we have banger conversation, okay? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my video for more people to see and join in this conversation. So go ahead and do that, because you'll be supporting this channel and this girl here when you do all that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces!